Today on Your Palm Beach Guide, we're joined by someone whose work strengthens families, saves lives, and transforms communities across Florida. Turner Benoit is the Chief Philanthropic Officer at Hanley Foundation. Turner leads statewide philanthropic strategy for one of the most impactful organizations in behavioral health, focusing on addiction prevention, recovery support, and expanding access to life-saving treatment. Under his leadership, Hanley Foundation continues to grow its reach, deepen its mission, and build meaningful partnerships that shape the future of mental health and recovery in Palm Beach County and beyond. In this conversation, we explore Turner's journey into philanthropy, the role of community in advancing wellness, and how data, storytelling, and mission alignment come together to create lasting change. Hello, Turner. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here. So we will jump right into our questions. Hanley Foundation has such a powerful mission. So what originally drew you to this work?
You know, I was pretty wild in my youth,
Yeah.
and I seemed to get things in order, and so I was always driven to get in this field and help others.
Yeah. And have you, in your role with Chief Philanthropy Officer, are you over just like development type stuff, or what does that look like?
I have a unique role,
Yeah.
and so a lot of what I do, yes, is the major fundraising initiatives. The major asks and working with those high net worth donors. So yes, that is a big portion of what I do.
Mhm.
But also, I've been in this community so long.
Yeah.
Grew
How
up in
long have you been here?
I grew up in Palm Beach.
Okay, great.
Lived actually lived on a boat when
Oh,
I was
did you
younger. Yeah.
really?
Yeah, on Peruvian Dock.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was. It was a big boat back then. Today it would be like a dinghy compared to those boats that are there. But yeah,
Oh
so I
my
grew up
goodness.
there. My grandparents are from Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So, I have many generations
Yeah.
and
Deep roots.
deep roots, yeah. And so I've been able to be a resource to people in the community when you know, when issues like this arise.
Right.
And so I field a lot of calls. I help a lot of families,
Hmm.
even if it's not at Hanley, just finding the right place, the right
Right.
people, the right therapists, doctors, things like that. And, it all comes full circle because a lot of those people that we help are the ones that become donors that,
Right.
allow us to do all the things that we're able to do.
One, I think too, like you have such a strong touch point in the community that you are able to directly impact the people who you're helping. Whereas in other organizations, people might not even see their dollars being used, but
Mhm.
people who participate in Hanley across all aspects really see the impact of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, we're in the midst of this capital campaign, and so in March, God willing, um, the build out of our resource center, our new resource center, will be done. It's actually going to be called the Moore Campus after our mayor Donnie Moore, who was so
Wow.
supportive. And we built a coffee shop, a bookstore, and a working kitchen. And not that we're in the bookstore business,
Right.
but it's going to be a job training for
Oh,
people
that's
in early
incredible.
recovery. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so it's pretty special. So right now, like I've been playing musical offices for the past 6 months. They just keep moving me around. But it's going to be done, and it's really going to look great.
And it's still, is it on 45th?
Yeah, so that's our corporate offices and the
Okay.
the public facing.
Yeah.
So that's right there on 45th in the St. Mary's complex. And actually, St. Mary's closed their entire cafeteria. Yeah, everything's vending machines, really fancy vending machines, but it's all going
Oh,
out. So anyway, it's good for us because if people need a really nice cup of coffee, they can
they can
come right
go.
next
Yeah.
door.
Oh, that's so nice.
Mhm.
And that's set to open in March.
I don't know if that'll open in March. The construction will be done in
Oh,
March,
okay, got
and
it.
then
Then you'll have the grand opening and
we'll have
all
the
all
grand.
the
We'll
things.
get hard hats, the whole
The
deal.
whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. And congratulations on that capital campaign. Awesome.
Yeah, we still got a ways to go.
But you'll get
We'll
there.
get there.
I mean, just the mission speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So it'll touch a lot of hearts. Addiction touches nearly every family in some way. So, in your experience, what are the most important ways communities can support prevention and recovery?
It's a big question.
I know,
I think that you have to just talk about it.
right?
Not say normalize it, but be willing to talk about it.
And not for it to feel like, "Oh my gosh, I can't say anything." Like,
Mhm.
to create a space that is comfortable, that if people are struggling or if kids are struggling, really, because this kinda gears towards, really the family unit, and so how have you been able to encourage parents who might be dealing with this type of stuff with their kids?
They say early, often, and age appropriate.
Mm,
And, we have conversations with our kids.
right,
Um, and living in Palm Beach, there's a lot of access.
right,
And so there's some kids that are pretty wild at a young age.
yeah,
And I don't think that parents talk enough about it.
right,
We talk to our kids about it, but I mean appropriately, right? They're
right,
mine are 10 and 12, but we're starting to have those conversations. And I think, um, they say that we family time is time well spent, and that the most important time is dinner.
yeah,
And so if you like families that have dinner together where like all the devices are shut off and
yeah,
and you just talk for 20 minutes,
right,
like their addiction rates are lower
right.
just because of that open communication.
And so with your family unit, you said you talked to your kids about that, and so at dinner, what does that look like?
It's just it varies.
Yeah. Well, I feel like parents sometimes are hard to talk about, or are having a hard time talking about it because they don't want to open the door, or maybe they don't feel, I don't know, maybe they don't feel like they've created a space for that. But
Mhm.
what would you say to encourage parents that are just like, just to start and have the conversation?
What I tell my kids, and you might say I'm an expert, but I'm really not.
I think all
I'm just
parents are
shooting.
figuring it
I'm just
out.
shooting from the hip. The biggest thing in terms of like studies that they've done
Hmm.
is that the age of first use is a big deal
Yeah.
because the brain is still developing, and those like risk reward pathways and all those things are just being developed at that point in their teenage years. The longer someone holds out before they start experimenting with drugs,
Mm.
the less likely they are, drugs or alcohol or any mind altering,
Yeah.
the less likely they are to have a problem later.
Right.
So what I tell my kids is just wait,
Right. Just wait.
and like if you can get someone to 18,
Yeah.
pretty good.
That's a pretty
Get someone
good.
to 21, you're really good.
Really good.
Right. But I'm a realist and I know, but I told I told my kids I'll buy you any car you want
Oh, I
i-
like it.
at 18. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think for my experience, my dad was in the military in the Coast Guard, and so he worked on the drug boats that would
Mhm.
grab drugs from the ocean, which is awesome. Shout out to my dad for that. But I think for me, it was always like we had those conversations, and I just heard all of the terrible stories. So it was fear for me. And I'm pretty sure I think I tried my first drug when I was like 19.
Yeah.
And it was like weed. I mean, like
Yeah.
smoked weed or
Yeah.
something. And
Yeah.
it just was like, but I was 19 at that point. So I was like, I get it, but I don't get the
I
hype.
think
It's
you're good. I think
fine.
you made it.
I know, right? But when you said that, you're like, make it to 18. I was like, oh, I made it. I made
Yeah.
it to 18.
And I said if you do 21, I'll buy you even a nicer
Yeah.
car. But yeah, I'm a realist, and kids go to college and they
Right.
experiment. 21 might be the age that you're allowed to, but
Right.
so but yeah.
I love that you're open to having those conversations. Is that really what I wanted to get at? Is
Mhm.
like I feel like you and your partner are just navigating parenthood that way. You two
Mm.
got it. You're a strong unit.
And it's my wife, neither one of us drink, and so my kids don't have a lot of experience,
Right.
like, seeing that. And this is funny, so I remember this is years ago, but we were at a stoplight and someone was panhandling, and they had this sign
Mhm.
that said, "I'm not gonna lie, this is for beer."
At
And
least they were
and
honest.
and I my wife
Jeez.
and I are laughing, we're like, I'm gonna give that guy money."
Yeah.
And my daughter says, "Does he just, like, really like root beer?" Because she had, like,
Oh,
no idea what it meant. And we're like, "Yeah, Phoebe, it's root beer."
it's root beer. Oh, that's awesome. That's
Mhm,
so sweet though.
mhm.
That's such an innocent
Yeah, it sticks
response.
sticks with me, that one.
I love that. I love that. So you mentioned you manage relationships across donors and those community partners. How do you approach building trust with those partners for you in this role?
I think, the longevity of Hanley.
Been
It
there a long time too, though,
Yeah,
specifically.
12 years, the
Right.
little break in the middle. But yeah, you know, I I'm a relationship guy. I'm much more apt to just pick up the phone and call someone.
Right.
And, I think that they trust us.
Right.
we are able to be good stewards of their money, and at the same time, we are able to help them in what often is, like, their most time of need.
Right. Right.
Um, and to help them navigate that because it's, like, a really complex
Yeah.
and there's a lot of moving parts, and when you're dealing with people from Palm Beach, that
Mm,
it's even more complicated. It's not very never cut and dry.
right. Exactly.
So, just to be there and I think, I always answer my phone,
Yeah.
and, that's
You're reliable.
that's
You're
all I can
reliable.
do.
That's what I said. That's what I hear. You're reliable. What trends are you seeing in behavioral health and philanthropy, sorry, right now that are shaping how Hanley Foundation shows up in the community?
You're really hitting me with the questions today, aren't you?
Well, I think they're good. I haven't interviewed you here. I haven't interviewed you before.
Philanthropy is tricky, especially for what we're doing.
Right.
It's not, nothing against the turtles or the dogs, but, there's
Right.
I don't wanna use the word sin, but,
Right.
there's something it's
It's
more
hard.
nuanced, it's harder, and
It's
also
hard.
there's still a stigma
Right.
around it, and, it's like, "Oh, give $1,000,000 to the Norton." Everyone "Oh, they love art,"
Right.
like, and give $1,000,000 to Hanley, like, "Ooh,
Like why?
why are you doing that?"
Yeah.
And some people don't care, which is
Right.
great. We have a
Right.
lot of donors and they don't care,
Yeah.
and but it's getting a little bit easier, but, I'm afraid we'll never be that charity for, the billionaire that moves to Palm Beach, like, "I'm gonna make a name for myself," and, like, I slap,
Slap it.
$5,000,000 down at
Right.
Hanley, that I think that those are gonna go to the Norton or
Right.
something like that. But with the influx of people, a lot of them are more mission
Right.
focused and realize that, we're saving lives.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can joke about that, but it's the
No,
truth.
it is the truth. Absolutely.
So, people that really wanna see their dollars go somewhere that they can see, whenever we, do a board meeting, the first thing we do is we read these gratitude letters
Ah,
that,
that's great.
scholarship recipients write,
Yeah.
and it puts, not a name, but, you hear their story.
Right.
Um, and so I think that's important because that's what it's like the human element, right?
It is.
That's what this is about.
Right.
It's yeah, we throw big galas and we do all that stuff and, I'll speak at the chamber
Right.
but at the end of the day, there's people that are really sick and suffering, we're trying to help them.
Yeah. Well, and I love that you really just the mission is so just simple for others to understand that like this is what we're doing and this is how you can help. So there's a clear action point.
Yeah. We try to make it as easy as possible
Easy as
for
possible.
donors. You wanna name a building? Sure, or if you wanna help someone who, couldn't afford
Right.
treatment otherwise, we can help them too.
Have that too.
Yeah.
No, that's so good. Do you have a personal story, whether it's big or small, that reflects why the work at Hanley Foundation matters?
Alright, I might have told this one before, but
Yeah,
alright.
not to me though. So you can
Okay.
you can tell
So
me.
so for years, when I first started at Hanley, I was really focused on raising money for scholarships for people who couldn't afford treatment.
Mm,
Um, I felt like it was, in a way, self-serving because it was a very, simple
right.
concept for donors, right? Someone's sick, they can't afford care, you donate, we get them care,
Right.
it's simple. And, so I worked, me, Rachel, a couple other people, like, built this whole program out where, um we were working with like hundreds of different treatment centers and negotiated rates so that we were able to get people treatment for like 10% of retail.
Wow.
And I get a call. So this is back in the day where I had to field these calls. And so I get a call from this very southern, I can't even do the accent justice, but a young lady from South Georgia, and she's begging for help. And so what I used to do, because if they just call you and say I need help right now, the biggest thing is willingness,
Right.
because sometimes they're just
Right.
trying to, you know,
Exactly.
change their environment for a little bit.
Right.
And so I said to her, this was my move. I said, "All right, call me back tomorrow morning at 9:15, not 9:14, not 9:20, 9:15." And she goes, "Okay." And 9:15 the next morning, she calls me, and I said, "Okay,
Mm,
we'll get you help." So we put her in this other treatment center, and I would get updates, and she was killing it. She was like washing people's cars because she had nothing.
Right.
She called us. We helped her get into sober living, helped her cover some costs of that for a little while, but she got a job. She was just doing great. She would call me every year on her sober anniversary. And then one year she calls and it wasn't that time of year. I was
Mm.
like, uh-oh. And she's like, hi, Mr. Turner. She says, my brother needs help. And I said, okay. And so we helped her brother, got
Right.
him into treatment, did the whole thing. He was doing well. About a year later, she calls me again, and it wasn't at her
At our normal
anniversary.
time.
She goes, Mr. Turner, I got this other brother. And I'm like, hold on. Like, how many family members do you have? And she said, this is the last one, I swear. I said, okay, we'll help him. We helped him too. And today, all three of them are doing great.
Wow.
And I remember her, and she still calls me every year on her anniversary, and she invited me to her wedding.
Oh
It's
my
just
gosh, that's like a
oh
long-term
yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's my girl.
Oh,
And then her brothers are both doing great. And so it's just you hear so much tragedy.
right.
And you quite frankly, we're operating in a field where if I could say that 30% of the time it worked, we'd
Mm.
be killing it.
Right.
And so it's so unique when one person gets it, but a whole family
A
like
whole
that. Yeah.
family.
Yeah. That's the one that you know.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
okay. When you hear the tragedy, you have
Right.
to kind of think about
You have to think about those good
yeah,
stories to
because the
keep you
tragedy will
moving.
just take you down,
It
take you down.
will.
But then you get one of those and you're just
You're
like,
like,
"Oh,
"Back up. I
back
can
up."
do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I can conquer anything at this
Mhm.
point." Oh, that's so good. That is so, so good. So Palm Beach is home to an incredibly philanthropic community, as we've already touched on. So what makes this region unique when it comes to giving and mission-driven partnerships?
It's, fundraising's a little bit of a blood sport.
Yeah. Here, at least,
And
it's crazy.
and it's like action packed because, it's really like 6 months out of the year.
Right. You have a very limited
You have a very
window.
you have multiple there's not a night that there isn't an event. But for me, it's more the personal touch.
Right.
And I'm unique, right? That I grew up there.
Yeah.
I
And you kinda know. I mean, you know the way of
yeah,
the
and
world.
I'm a member of the country clubs.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
my town. I don't live there. I live in Jupiter now, but still, my mother's still there. I'm over
Right.
there all the time. My kids go to the day cat. I still call it day school. Palm Beach Day.
Yeah.
So, um, but I never went to school to raise money or anything like that.
Right.
I'm just
You're
part of the
just in it.
community and
Yeah.
and I don't think I take myself very seriously because I'll walk up and be like, "Oh, hide your wallet." I was like, "You better." I know your wire number. That's kind of how I've done it.
But I think that's important because people know you. They
Mm,
know you, and that's the difference. You're just not out here, like you said, asking people
right.
just kinda like off the cuff. It's like this is who you are, and you've really integrated not only your upbringing, but also your whole family in this
Yeah.
community, so it's very different.
We've been around a long, long time and these are the same people like at Christmas dinner.
Right.
I'll see the donors. Yeah,
Right.
like
You're like, "Hey."
that's just
That's how it is.
right. So I'm not an outsider going in.
Right.
Um,
I think that's important to touch on. So, for anyone listening, how can people get more involved with Hanley if they're interested?
so we have some great events. Our next big one's our Palm Beach dinner. It's on February 12th
Nice.
at the Flagler Museum.
It's gonna be
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah, so, Chip James and Elizabeth Matthews are the chairs. They're the only reason we were able to actually get in there because Elizabeth. Um, but yeah, it's I think we're expecting, I think 3 to 400 people this year.
Oh,
Um, we did it there last year, and it was great, and so we're bringing it back,
oh, good.
and, yeah, so again, that's February 12th.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. And then, of course, we'll link the website and all the good things
Mm.
afterwards. So, as we wrap up, I have some of my rapid fire
Oh
questions.
gosh,
So they're
okay.
fun. I
Alright.
promise they're fun. But just the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. So, what are you watching right now? Any binge worthy shows?
I've been watching that Welcome to Derry.
What?
It's like the Stephen King thing
That's
on HBO.
like,
Yeah.
I will have to look it up.
Oh, it's scary. And then I started to watch Stranger Things with my son, but he's 10,
Oh, it's intense.
and
Are you on season one?
No, because
Oh,
he
okay.
he, like, knew a lot about it from, like, the
He
internet,
Oh, okay.
and so he's like, "No, let's just start at 10," and so we watched the 1st episode and then excuse me, start at the 5th season, and, so and then I look at him, and I was like, "Dude, if are you gonna have nightmares?" And
It's
so
so
I
scary.
shut it off,
Yeah,
but,
it's
yeah, we
scary.
might take bites of it, but my wife doesn't listen to this.
That's
She'll
hilarious.
she'll come after me.
What's one book that changed your life?
Wow. I'm an avid reader, but I will say, like, the first book that I couldn't put down
Yeah.
was when I was little, and
What is
A
it?
Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, yes, that's a great
So
book.
I remember reading that. I was probably like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10,
That's
and being
perfect
like, "Wow," and, like, wanting to.
to keep reading.
Yeah, and I read a lot, but
No,
that
but
was
that's awesome.
the first one that was like, this is fun."
Yeah. It's fun to read.
Mhm,
People should remember it's fun to
mhm.
read. What is your favorite Palm Beach hidden gem?
Oh, man. I just remember, like, the old Palm Beach.
Oh, tell me.
We had this really great fort at the top and on the Kennedy compound back when it was just one house
Yeah.
because I grew up on El Pueblo, and we had this fort that we, like, cut into the sea grapes, and then we all go in there, smoke cigarettes.
That's
So
fantastic.
that's long gone.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's a good memory.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
so when I think of, like, those.
yeah, you think of growing up.
Yeah,
That's what it should be.
yeah,
What's one piece of advice that you'd give to anyone who aspires to make a meaningful impact in their career?
be personable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all relationships,
Mhm.
and try to be relatable.
Right.
Like, if you can relate to people first before whatever that is,
Yeah.
sports, working out, like, whatever,
Just find something.
just find something, kids, but, like, start there,
Yeah.
and if and be real.
Yeah, be real. And last question, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, living or deceased, who would it be?
I think, like, Winston Churchill would be pretty interesting.
Okay.
He was wild, yeah. I think it'd be fun. I read a lot of books about him. I don't but that's a tough one.
Winston's a good answer.
Okay.
That's fair. You don't have to justify it.
Alright,
That's perfect.
alright.
Well, Turner, thank you for being on today.
Thank you for having me.